Next, let's talk about chords. I really like your book's definition of what a chord is. A chord is created when three or more notes are played together. Just as a recap, realize that when you play two notes together, it's not a chord. It has to be three or more. When you play two notes together, it's called a harmonic interval. Now, there are some chords that are consonant or pleasing sounding, and there are other chords that are dissonant or harsher sounding. Here are some examples of some consonant and dissonant chords. Let's start with consonant chords. So you can tell those are very pleasing sounding chords. They're not harsh sounding. Here are some dissonant chords. So you can tell there's a big difference between what a consonant chord sounds like and what a dissonant chord sounds like. The most common type of chord you'll find in music is called a triad, and a triad is made up of three notes, thus the prefix tri. The first note of any triad is known as the root. So let's say we're in the key of C major, meaning we are using the C major scale to construct chords. In doing that, I'm going to start with the note C as my root, or the first note of my chord. So if we're going to construct a triad from C, my root note, we would count up three notes from C, starting with counting C as the first note, C, D, E. So this would be our third. And we're not done yet, we have to add one more note. The last note of a triad is called the fifth. So if we start with C being our root note, and we count up 5 notes, having C start as our first note, C, D, E, F, G is our fifth note. So if we add those 3 notes together, the root, the third, and the fifth, we get a C major chord. Now your book makes a quick mention of the fact that you can change the quality of a chord, meaning making it either major or minor, depending on what scale you are using as a reference to construct your chords. So going back to what we were discussing before with types of scales, let's say instead of using the C major scale to construct our triad, we were using the C minor scale. And remember, the minor scale has a different formula for constructing it. Since we're only dealing with the first 5 notes, the only thing you need to realize is the third of that scale is flatted, or in other words, it's lowered a half step. So C major would be, C minor would be. So if we know that a triad is composed of the first, the third, and the fifth, a C minor chord, or a C minor triad, would be C, E flat, and G. So listen to the difference of a C major chord and then a C minor chord. Let's start first with the C major chord. Very stable and pleasant sounding. Now if I lower the third and make it a C minor chord, it sounds much different. Much darker sounding. So I hope this helps to explain what chords are, and then finally we're going to close this section with cadences.